Today, we hack Paper Mario the Origami King, and we see what happens if Mario gets hole punched at 1 HP. What happens if Mario gets hole punched at 0 HP? We answer these questions and more. There are a lot more tests like this that I have planned for this game as well as other games, so please make sure to click the subscribe button. Test number 1. 1 HP versus the hole punch boss. Let's edit the game, give Mario 1 HP, and face the hole punch boss. Will hole punching Mario drop his total HP to 0? Will this kill Mario, or will Mario be able to survive the hole punch attack? Normally, every time Mario gets hole punched, his HP drops in half, and he can get hole punched up to 4 times. When Mario has just 1 HP and he gets hole punched, his HP doesn't drop to 0. It stays at 1 out of 1. We can see that Mario's HP doesn't change even though we could see that a hole has been taken out of him. Right after using the hole punch, the boss attacks with base slap, and that attack does defeat Mario. And notice that we're still able to block this base slap attack. Normally, you can't block any attacks after Mario dies, as we've seen at the Earth Elemental boss, so that means that the hole punch attack didn't kill Mario. Let's try getting a 1-up mushroom so that we could last longer in this fight. Can we get hole punched a second time? And what happens if we pick up the part of our face that got hole punched? Will our HP stay at 1? Will it increase to 2? Will it go back up to our starting HP value of 50? Well, the first attack works the same as usual. Being hole punch doesn't reduce Mario's HP, and the base slap takes out Mario's 1 HP. The 1-up mushroom brings Mario back to full HP, 1 out of 1. In the second turn, we can't really test out these theories. The hole punch won't use the hole punch attack twice in a row at the start of the fight, so we can't get hole punched again. And we can't survive the attack to see what happens if Mario gets his face back. Test number 2. 0 HP versus the hole punch boss. Let's see what happens if we face the hole punch boss with 0 HP. Those of you who have seen my older videos already know that HP behaves really weird in this game when it's really high or really low. So let's see what happens. For some reason, the fight started with me having only 2 moves instead of the normal 3 moves that you get for this boss fight. And I didn't realize that, so I walked into a hole. And once I fell into the hole, Mario died. I've never seen this happen before. I'm guessing that this is happening because he's at 0 out of 0 HP, so the game thinks that Mario's dead. Mario uses his 1-up mushroom here, and after that the boss attacks us and kills us a second time. So let's try this fight again. This time, I walk straight up to the boss, wondering what will happen if we're hole punched while we have 0 out of 0 HP. It's the enemy's turn, and we get hole punched. A hole is missing from Mario. The boss does its base slap attack, but this time, we can't block it. When we got hole punched at 1 out of 1 HP, we were able to block this boss attack. But if we get hole punched at 0 out of 0 HP, then we can't block the next attack. And I did this several times just to make sure. If Mario has 0 out of 0 HP and he gets hole punched, the game treats that as if Mario's already dead, so he can't block the next attack anymore. Now in this fight, the hole punch gobbles up a treasure chest. And I don't think that that normally happens. I haven't seen that before, but this could be just a weird coincidence. We're still at 0 out of 0 HP, so that means that the fight continues. But we can see that there's flashing red in the background, so we have to be careful because our HP is low. I think to myself, let's try getting an envelope and let's see if that kills us. Stepping in a hole killed us when we had 0 HP in the previous turn, so let's see if we're safe to read an envelope with a hint on how to defeat the boss. And we survived after reading the hint envelope, and then the hole punch uses throwing punches and that kills Mario. So there are some small differences between getting hole punched at 1 HP and 0 HP, and it's interesting how the game decides to handle something that normally shouldn't happen in the game. Test number 3. 999 HP versus the hole punch boss. Normally, you can be hole punched up to 4 times, and each time you get hole punched, your total HP drops in half. So let's try giving Mario 999 HP, and let's see what happens with the hole punch boss. Things in this game get a bit weird when you have more than 990 HP, and they get weird in a few ways. First of all, when you enter a fight, your HP drops to 990 instead of 999. And sometimes the game acts like you have 999 HP, and sometimes it acts like you have 990 HP. The first time that we're hole punched, surprisingly, our HP drops to 500. the hole punch special attack acts like we really do have 999 HP, even though it's showing that we have 990. The second time that we're hole punched, it drops from 500 to 250. And then from 250, it drops to 125 the next time that we're hole punched. And the fourth time that we're hole punched, our HP drops to 63. Each time, our HP drops in half, rounded up, from 999, which seems perfectly normal for now. So we've been hole punched 4 times so far, which is normally the maximum amount of times that Mario can be hole punched. If we get hole punched again now, our HP doesn't drop any further, and Mario doesn't have any new holes added to his body. We're still at 63 HP after getting hole punched. Here's something that you might already know about the game. With higher total HP, your attacks do more damage. So with 63 HP and an excellent action command, our shiny hammer does 7 damage to the hole punch boss. Let's set up a turn where we pass by all 4 circles that have been cut out of Mario, and we'll attack again to see the difference. Mario's HP starts at 63 in this turn. After collecting the first circle, it goes up to 125 HP. It goes up to 250 from the next circle. From the next circle, it goes up to 500 HP. And for the last circle, Mario's HP goes up to 999 for a moment, and then it drops back down to 990. Because in battles, for some reason, this game doesn't want to display HP values above 990. So whenever we have that high HP value, it just drops back to 990, as we saw at the start of the fight. Our shiny hammer attack does 63 damage this time, which is much more damage than 7 damage. And now, the hole punch is ready for its special attack, where it punches 2 holes. So let's see if that behaves as expected. From 990 HP, we have our total HP drop down to 248, which is really interesting because last time after 2 holes, we were at 250 HP. So what's going on differently this time? Here's why these numbers are kind of weird. From this point on, the game acts like we've had 990 HP all along, even though at the beginning it was acting like we've had 999 HP. For another in-depth look at this exact question, I really recommend checking out my video, 999 HP versus the Scissors boss attack, and there's a link to that at the end of this video. And we can see with the rest of this boss fight whether we start collecting the circles that have been punched out of Mario, or whether Mario has more holes punched into him. Now the game is behaving as if our original HP was 990, not 999. At the beginning of the boss fight, we were having HP values of 999, 500, 250, 125, and 63. But now, the game is acting as if our original HP was 990, so that's why our HP values are 248 instead of 250, and that's why these values that we're having aren't the same as the values that we had at the beginning of the fight. For a game where you're not supposed to be able to get more than about 200 HP, the way that the game handles this is pretty interesting. With our decreased HP, when we finish off the boss, we end up with 990 HP, not 999, which at this point might be expected. There are a lot more things like this that I'm experimenting with this game as well as on other games, so you can follow me on Twitter for small updates like this, seeing what happens when you float around enemies, and you can see stuff like this before it comes out in full videos. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you did enjoy it. I hope that you have a lovely day, and take care, everybody.